The desert stretched endlessly, a sea of red dust beneath a sun that burned like judgment itself. Every living thing seemed to bend beneath its weight. The thorn bushes, the dry grass, even the horizon shimmered as if it wanted to disappear. Down the lone trail that led into the settlement of Rust Creek walked Aiyana Cross, her moccasins leaving faint prints that the wind would soon erase. Aiyana was what the town called half-blood. Her mother had been Apache, her father a Union soldier who had settled in the Southwest after the war. To the narrow-minded folks of Rust Creek, she was a reminder that the world was changing, and change frightened them. Still, she walked with her head high, her braids swaying, her eyes sharp as flint. Rust Creek was little more than a handful of buildings wrapped in dust. One saloon, one church, one general store, and too many men who believed they owned the land because they had staked a claim on it. Aiyana traded herbs and remedies for flour and salt, trying to live quietly on the edge of town. But fear has a way of twisting into cruelty. One evening, a gang from the Sandstone outfit cornered her near the Cottonwood Grove, accusing her of theft and sorcery. Their shouts grew ugly, their courage fueled by whiskey and prejudice. Aiyana stood her ground until rough hands seized her. In the chaos, justice vanished. All that remained was hate. Then a lone rider appeared from the ridge, a tall rancher named Eli McGraw, a man whose reputation for fairness carried farther than the wind. Without a word, he dismounted, faced the mob, and in that silence people began to remember the law they had forgotten. He cut her bonds, steadied her trembling hands, and said 5 words that silenced every tongue. "She's under my protection now." No one argued. Eli lifted her onto his horse and rode away into the sunset, the desert wind carrying with it the promise of reckoning. At his ranch, Aiyana found water, food, and a bed by the fire. Eli asked nothing of her except to rest. As the nights passed, she began to help around the place, feeding horses, tending the small garden, and sewing up worn tack. The ranch became a quiet refuge, though the marks on her wrists told her peace was fragile. Eli worked with the patience of a man who knew loneliness. He had lost his wife years earlier to fever, and since then had spoken to few, yet something in Aiyana's calm strength drew him out again. At dusk they sat by the fire, speaking little, sharing silence like an old song. But Rust Creek had not forgotten. Whispers spread that McGraw was hiding a witch girl. One night, as storm clouds gathered, riders appeared on the horizon carrying torches. Eli smelled smoke before he saw the flames. "They're coming," he said. Aiyana wanted him to let her go. "They want me, not you." He loaded his rifle. "I don't hand people over to hate." The gang swept in shouting, torches flying. Fire leapt from dry grass to barn boards. Eli fired once, then again, measured, certain. Aiyana took the pistol he handed her and fought beside him. Fear turned to courage. When the smoke cleared, the riders were gone and the barn half burned. But the ranch still stood. Eli looked across the scorched yard at Aiyana, who was gripping the pistol, breathing hard. "Freedom always costs something," he said. "But it's worth paying for the right person." Dawn found them rebuilding fences and tending the frightened horses. Aiyana offered to leave so the trouble would follow her instead. But Eli shook his head. "You think running stops hate? No, you stay. We'll show them what standing tall looks like." Weeks passed. Word of the fire and the rancher's stand traveled through the valley. The same townsfolk who had once sneered began to come for supplies or advice. They found Aiyana there, calm and kind, healing their children with her herbs. Curiosity turned to respect. One evening, Eli found her near a cottonwood on his land. She had tied a short piece of old rope to its branch. "I thought you burned that," he said. "It's a reminder," she answered. "We remember pain so we can see how far we've come." He took a carved wooden token from his pocket, TB, hard entwined with a feather, and placed it in her hand. "This isn't a chain," he said softly. "It's a promise. You'll never face this world alone again." Her fingers closed around it. The wind swept through the tree, carrying away the last echoes of fear. When the next sunrise broke over the ridge, 2 riders crossed the desert together, a man and a woman who had turned hatred into hope. Behind them, the land glowed gold as if blessing what they'd built. The people of Rust Creek no longer called her half-blood. They called her Miss Cross, healer and teacher. And when they spoke of Eli McGraw, they said he was the man who had stared down hatred and won not with bullets, but with decency. Their story became legend, a tale of a rope that once bound and a love that set 2 souls free. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss our next Western tale of courage, justice, and redemption. Every week we bring you stories that remind us, even in the harshest desert, compassion can bloom and courage always finds its rider.